Hey Wayfinder, welcome back to the channel. Recently I had a conversation with a meditation teacher and she shared some really powerful insights into how you and we can be our own healers. And so I want to share with you a 3-step process of how we can more easily find Zen in our lives.
We don't look at a rose bush that doesn't flower as problematic. We don't blame the rose or the bush. Right? We see the factors in its environment that may need some attending. Like, is the soil receiving enough fertilizer? Is there enough sunlight? Is it too crowded or cramped around the roses? Likewise, we can see ourselves in the same way, but instead we tend to see ourselves as flawed. Like, I'm not blooming every year. I'm not growing in the way I want to be. I'm too meek. I'm too timid. I'm too whatever. Instead of saying, oh, what's happening in my environment that might be causing some imbalance.
I think this is such an important and beautiful point that Mimi makes. So much of self-development and wellness is about you as an individual. And if we find ourselves anxious or depressed, we can often blame ourselves. What have I done wrong? But we live in societies that disconnect us from our bodies, from community, from nature, from an idea of spirituality or connection to something bigger than ourselves. And then we blame ourselves for finding life tough. In the same way that a plant can't flourish without nutrients in the soil, our flourishing is bigger than us. And yes, we do have power to move from where we are and to be our own healers. But if we recognize it's not all our fault, it is bigger than us, then we can build that compassion and kindness. For me, my inner critic I call the underminer, a little evil wizard in my mind that brings me down and gives me pain. And the underminer is still with me, but I find a lot more kindness and compassion for that, because I know that to have an inner critic is to be human, it's not my fault. And I've learned to make friends with my underminer, although not always, most of the time. So let's go on to stage 2 now. And Mimi, like me, has been exploring and sharing the beautiful world of Qigong. I'm wearing the t-shirt. And even if you haven't heard of Qigong before or ever practiced it, Mimi shares an awesome definition which can help us understand the power of practice, how practice can help us cultivate energy and transform our lives.
What I feel Qigong is for me now, a steady, skillful cultivation of that which nourishes us. In the etymology of Chinese characters, Qi is comprised of the character for a kernel of rice and vapor. So in that, there's the invitation to feel nourished. Right? Rice, when it's cooked, is the staple of a Chinese diet for much of the country. And then vapor is steam, and the transformative process of changing the hard kernel into something that we can digest and use as nourishment is beautiful, but it also points to all energy in the universe. And I say that with both the scientific understanding of the universe and more of a spacious, felt, embodied sense of universe, but all energy in our universe moves. It's transferred. No energy can be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. And then Qi is this beautiful character, and Gong is often described as skill or accomplishment or perseverance, day after day to do that. So when I join these two characters together, I see the skillful, steady cultivation of what nourishes us.
I love that definition. And it is beautiful to remind ourselves that our bodies and minds, even with all the stiffness and insecurities and maybe pain, there is the possibility that we can enjoy our lives, moving and starting from exactly where we are. And practice is the path. That's how we cultivate joy and compassion and kindness. So what are the practices that can support you on that journey of cultivating that which nourishes you? Qigong is a beautiful practice. And do you know that Qi, the Chinese character, has 2 meanings, energy and breath, which is fascinating, the Chinese equating the energy that powers the whole universe and your breath. And the breath, for me, has been one of the most powerful tools to help me find a bit more Zen, to find some peace in times of stress. I breathe down into my belly, relax my face, slow my breath down, which is awesome because it automatically sends soothing signals through the nervous system, as I slow my breath down. And something on your journey towards finding your Zen is to find your anchors. Where can you rest in times of stress? Where can you place your awareness? And Mimi makes a really important point, which is that you've got to find out your own anchors because maybe the breath doesn't work for you. And Mimi shares her journey on that.
I know that for a lot of people, maybe some listeners, it's very difficult to actually feel comfortable with focusing on the breath for different reasons. It could be triggering. And so a really interesting idea of the nervous system, in understanding the nervous system, is that it's like a recording device. If at some point in our early childhood or at some point later we've developed a response within our nervous system that is triggered by difficult breathing, and then we tense up and it becomes very difficult to work with the breath because it's almost like rewriting our records, and that can be hard.
So maybe through your meditation practice, finding some different anchors that work for you, maybe feeling your foot on the floor in times of stress, feeling yourself grounded to the earth, maybe listening to the sounds if that isn't too much for you, feeling your sensations, just giving yourself a little hug. There's lots of options available for you. I'd love to know down in the comments below what anchors work for you and any other ideas that can help you find your Zen. If you'd like to see the full conversation between me and Mimi, it's on my new podcast channel. Please do go over there and subscribe. I'm sending you my best wishes for your onward journey to find a bit more ease and compassion, to feel nourished through your practice, and to find an anchor where you can rest in the here and now.